Morning Fridge Geeks, it's time to get going and go and see my first interview of the day. My lads are engineering, so that's a good thing. Someone's doing something in my company, and whilst we're just going around the world interviewing people, still could be worse. Happy Friday, eh? Here we are this morning with Go Internet. We're going to have a chat with them about how they use refrigeration, air conditioning, refrigeration technology. So here we are, Willowton Fridge Geeks. Morning everyone. It's Friday morning on the sunny Isle of Wight. We're here at Go Internet to learn about how they use refrigeration technology to how it's critical in their business, really. Morning everyone, we're here with Mike Cox from the Rosetta Group. He does all things internet technology. A lot of it I don't quite understand, but he's here to tell us a little bit more today about how the systems that he runs use refrigeration technology in order to maintain what they're doing.
Thanks a lot, Will. Well, I'm, as you said, Mike Cox from the Rosetta Group. We do all sorts of things technical, including software-based phone systems, software applications, web applications, everything internet-based. So that's really what we do for businesses only. We use all our stuff is based on servers, which nowadays are in what people call the cloud. All the cloud means is that the server isn't at your place, it's somewhere else. And our choice of somewhere else is normally right here in the data center. This data center here is in Newport, the Isle of Wight, at Go Internet. What I thought I'd just show you quickly is, first of all, some of our servers so you can see what it is that we do. So let's have a look in here, open this rack. You can see we've got a massive servers here. These are all, at the end of the day, they're just computers. They're big computers that run all the applications that our guys build, our phone systems, our management systems, our corporate control systems, everything's all on here. And all of this connects to the internet using Go Internet, and they send our stuff up and join on to the rest of the world. Now all of these servers are just like a computer in your office. They are chucking out heat all the time because they're working really hard. There are hundreds and hundreds of things going on just in these machines here. Not just like us sitting on a desktop in your office. They're actually doing loads of stuff. So they're doing an awful lot of work, a lot of counting, a lot of ones and zeros, and generating a lot of heat. So what's really important when you've got a whole rack of them like this is to make sure they stay at a reasonable temperature. If they chuck out heat more and more and they get hotter and hotter, eventually, like anything, they'll just give up. And if it was you in your office, you'd just go home. These would just shut down, and that's no good for our customers and no good for everyone who's doing business here on the Isle of Wight. So what we do, we put them here in a data center, and then luckily the data center is cooled to try and keep the temperature of these down. And as you can see, there are more racks of these here, there are further racks going back, and they're all generating heat, and so cooling is really important in here.
So we use all sorts of software packages at work to log our jobs. When I'm typing away, getting jobs sent down to engineers' mobile phones, etc., so they can attend the next job. As far as I know, it goes down a little cable and
That's pretty much how the internet works. Yes, it comes along those little wires into the building here, connects into various places in different computers. It then either does all what it's got to do here, or let's say you've asked for something from Google, it then says, well, Google's not here, we've got to go off onto the internet. So off it goes up another wire, which is all fibre these days, up and finds Google and gets your answer and sends it all the way back round. And that's really how it all works. So it's pretty simple.
What would be your cooling worst nightmare?
Well, as you can see, you imagine in here, if with all these computers churning out heat, if the cooling stopped in here, you wouldn't notice at first because they've all got fans churning away and they keep themselves cool. But very quickly, the temperature in the room starts to rise and rise and rise, a few degrees at a time. And very quickly, what they're doing, instead of taking in cool air and throwing out warm air, they're taking in warm air and throwing out hotter air, then taking in hotter air and getting hotter, and eventually all the computers would just switch themselves off, they'd shut themselves down and nothing would work. And we'd quickly get phone calls saying our phone system's not working, our emails don't work, the internet's disappeared. That would be quite a disaster, especially here on the Isle of Wight, where we've got a lot of customers here, and Go Internet do an awful lot of work to make sure that these systems stay up all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I was always under the impression that with server air conditioning, because we use the term air conditioning, we're looking at really cold temperatures, but I'm told that actually with servers these days it's more about maintaining the temperature at one temperature, but not quite as cold as 19 or something. It's more sort of 25-ish. So do these units need heating up when it gets cold ambient, or what happens in that instance?
Well, the thing is with these, we've got so much heat coming out of there. What we're trying to do is keep them all at a steady temperature. I'm not sure of the exact figures, but 20 to 25 degrees is a reasonable temperature. As you can tell in here, it's not cold. This isn't a chiller at the local supermarket, but it's a steady temperature. So in the winter, there's not as much cooling needed because these servers are still generating heat and keeps it cool.
How has refrigeration technology changed the way that data centres go about their business?
Well, the big change really is that it means the data centres can be bigger, but more importantly these days, more efficient, more thermo-efficient. Because if you think about it, we could run these servers at a much higher temperature. They wouldn't be so efficient. Their fans will be working much harder to keep the temperature of the servers down, so they'll be using a lot more electricity. If we can keep the temperature in this room at a steady temperature, then everything uses a lot less electricity. The servers are more efficient, they can do more work for less power. And the air conditioning is doing less work as well. It's all about efficiency and economy these days.
What would you do without the ability to chill?
Oh, chilling's so important, not just here but after work. If we couldn't chill this room, we wouldn't be able to have all these servers in this room, because straight away the temperature in here would get ridiculous. And we go back to the days where, not long ago, even the last 10 years, it was quite normal to have individual computers and servers at each company. So most companies would have a small server room, or even a corner of an office where the machines roared away all the time and annoyed people. Now we can get them out of those offices all in one place here and away, which is more efficient, and we can share them. As I said, we've got hundreds of systems just running on this block here, whereas before they would need hundreds of a server in each of these hundreds of locations. So this just brings more efficiency and it makes it easier to maintain.
What's your favourite chilled item?
Ooh, a bit of a juggler here. It's got to be a choice between a nice cold lager and a decent ice cream, preferably chocolate.
One of the aspirations with the channel really is about bringing education to a wider audience, and really to try and make people a bit more real, and show that everybody started somewhere once. So when you were a junior engineer coming into your trade particularly, what were the first tasks that you were given as an apprentice engineer?
Oh, it was the boring stuff. It was doing Windows updates and things like that. But this was in a time long before things like Windows 10, when you would click on a button, it would say updates are available, and it would start downloading them on the 56k dial-up modem with all the noises, and it would take several hours to download them and install them, and you'd have to restart Windows every few minutes. Oh, it was just so boring. Now with Windows 10, once a week, it automatically does the updates and things go a lot smoother. Or if you're really sensible, you move on to things like Linux, which is what we use a lot of, and the updates are just really simple.
So I'm with Trevor now from Go Internet. I noticed when I pulled up to the front of the building that you had a generator out the front. I presume that has something to do with when the electricity fails, so can you tell us a little bit more about what you've got going on there?
That's absolutely right. So as Mike described, we have some systems in there that need to be highly available for Mike's customers. So as important as cooling is, electricity is very important as well to keep these servers on all of the time. So here we have two backup power systems. Each rack, if we look up here, is powered by a primary and a secondary. So each of these servers has two power supplies. And these are two UPS systems. We obviously have our mains electricity coming in here. In the event of a power failure, this box here will disengage the mains supply, automatically start our generator, and start charging these batteries again.